Hello, everyone. I have come by to tell you that you don't have to be at a loss for words. As a speaker of other languages, you can enrich and expand your English vocabulary, and you can do so fast. So I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to remember more English words by capturing the essentials of each word you learn, as well as how to move away from just learning one word at a time to learning multiple words at a time. I'll also be sharing a practical way that you can use to deepen your understanding of English while you are broadening your English vocabulary. So here we go. In looking at how to expand your vocabulary, we're going to be talking about how you can deepen your understanding of English words and expressions you already know, as well as talking about learning new words and expressions. Now, the specific steps we will discuss are 1. Getting the basic meaning of a word by capturing its essence. Whenever you learn a new word, I'm encouraging you to pinpoint at least 3 basic components of the word. So if we were to use the word traffic, for example, we could talk about the fact that it involves the movement of people and things, that it sometimes also involves the movement of goods. And third, we could look at the fact that it happens on the road and in other spaces, such as in buildings, in the air, and at sea. So you're capturing the essential components or elements of the concept. And when you pin down the most important things, aim for at least 3. When you pin down the most important things, that will make it more memorable. The second thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to decide if a word or expression is most suitable for being used in a particular context. Now, there are times when there are more than one word that can be used to say something. However, some words may be more common and natural in a certain context and therefore better to use. Here is where collocations become very useful. Collocations are when words are typically found together. When that happens, we say these words collocate. So you're likely to hear these words in natural everyday conversations. And an example would be some of the expressions we use, say, in a hotel. So we would talk about how that we have booked a room as opposed to found and paid for a room. We would talk about tipping the waiter as opposed to giving money as a kind act to the waiter. We would use the expression use or charge the credit card, not use the credit card to make the payments. And we would talk about ordering room service, not asking for the hotel staff to take our meal to the room. So you can build your vocabulary quickly and extensively by learning what collocates with each new word you learn. For example, after learning the word traffic, what collocates with it? Think quickly, brainstorm. What other words have you heard often used with traffic? How about traffic light or light traffic? Heavy traffic. Jam, traffic jam. Ticket, traffic ticket. So these other words that usually appear with this word, that are usually used with this word, would be called collocates of this word traffic. Now, in the examples, I spoke about light traffic and I spoke about traffic light, and those are 2 different things. So that's an example. Light as a collocate of traffic is an example of a word that has more than one meaning. And so does traffic, by the way. So when you learn a new word, I'm encouraging you to check to see if the word has more than one meaning, and also to check what other words may collocate with it. Some you already know, and some you will know when you check your dictionary or you listen to what is spoken around you by those who use the language. The next thing I want to say about your use of techniques for expanding your vocabulary in English is to identify the relationships between words. Now, there is a vocabulary expansion grid that I have prepared for you. And essentially, what this is a table that you can use. And you wouldn't use all of it at the same time. But what you can do is pull on one or two of the categories at a time whenever you learn a new word. And you can keep adding to the other categories over time as you keep encountering the word and using the word yourself. You can deepen your understanding of the meaning of the word. And one of the ways you can do that is to identify antonyms or opposites of the word. Bear in mind that there are different types of opposites. There are gradable antonyms and ungradable antonyms. And the difference between these two are that you can have extremes and a range of things that fall between those extremes. And when you think about those kinds of words, that's when you're dealing with gradable antonyms. For example, if we were to consider hot and cold, those are opposites. But between hot and cold, there are other words that can be used. So we would think of freezing. What's the opposite? We would think of boiling. We would think of chilly and warm. And we could think of lukewarm, which is somewhere between hot and cold. And so whenever you learn a new word, it is useful to consider what are opposites of this. And you will find that some of these antonyms will run along a continuum or a line of one extreme to the other with a range between those extremes. Then there will be times when your antonyms will simply be either or. There is no in between. It's yes or no. It's on or off. All right. Then you can contemplate thinking about synonyms. So when you learn a word, can you think of substitutes for that word? Now, remember that whenever you can use more than one word to say something, you still have minor differences in those meanings. That's why there are two words instead of one. All right. However, as long as the meaning is close enough, you can substitute some words for other words. For example, if I were to talk about clothes and attire and outfit, those words all deal with what someone wears. And so the meanings are close enough for us to substitute one for the other. Another thing that we can think of when we are learning new words are superordinates and hyponyms. And what these are general words and the specific items that fall under them. For example, looking again at clothes. Clothes would be a general word or concept. Under the broad heading of clothes, that broad term, that broad expression, there could be these different categories such as footwear and swimwear and headgear and underwear. And the kinds of specific clothing items you would wear within each of these categories is vastly different. You wouldn't wear headgear on your feet, and you certainly cannot or ought not to wear footwear on your head. So footwear could further be broken down into more specific words such as shoes and slippers and sandals and wellies, whereas headgear could be broken down into hat and cap and helmet. And so the point of this exercise is to show you that when you learn a specific word, you can expand your vocabulary very quickly by just simply answering the question of what are the related words. And you can be even more specific by asking, okay, what is a synonym for this? Or what is the antonym or an antonym of this? What is a related term, essentially? And of course, there is the category of expansion, vocabulary expansion, called transformations, which are new forms of a word created by adding prefixes and suffixes. In other words, we're attaching something at the beginning of the word or the end of the word that will change the meaning and expand on our vocabulary. For example, we could look at intent. We could change that to intention, intentional, unintentional, and intentionality. So they're all related to the word intent, but their meaning is different. So that gives us 3 ways that we can deepen our understanding of English words and expand the number of words that we learn at any given point in time. Now, to learn more, you can subscribe to my channel. You can like and share this video if you found it useful. And you can also join my private Facebook group where I provide support and resources for persons who are speakers of other languages who want to improve their English communication skills. Connect with me on social platforms as well using the links below. Until I see you in the next video, do take care. It was my pleasure. This is Marsha. Bye-bye.